Okay, I think we are live, my friend.
We are live. Apologies for the delay, but Andy's just been securing a very special gift. It's the Greek version of the Bella Ciao remix. We've only just had confirmation from the Greek government that we could play it. That's the reason for the delay. So
Absolutely.
we present to you the Greek Bella Ciao. Enjoy.
Beautiful, man.
Enjoy.
In the house, mate. With Greek. Oh, with some Greek stuff.
Andy's pulled a lot of strings to get this one, guys, so we're going to have to listen to it for the whole 7 minutes, 29 seconds. I have no idea what they're saying.
So I want to go out with her all night long. And I love you. Quite like it.
Wow. I think, Con, you and Andy are the only ones that like this remix. What are we thinking, guys? Let us know. We should play a version from every country. Yeah, we have a member. That would be quite cool.
We'll look for an African one next week.
Wow. Okay, so we'll just leave that as a little bed on the Tadas. Thank you for tuning in. Dominicus, Lorian's in the house. Facebook user, your comment doesn't really count unless we can see a picture, especially when you're saying things like that. You prefer this version. Wow. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. See? So I think we have to accept the comment.
Raj is in the house. Good to have you with us, Raj. Rocky is in the building. Kevin. Facebook user, please click on the StreamYard link so that we can see your photo and your name. They thought they got it this time.
Oh, it's not him again, is it?
So let's go into the top 5. Andrew McAlpine in the top 5. Good effort. Facebook user, no exclamation mark. The exclamation mark probably cost you. Con. Second again, mate. Second again. Who's the winner? Oh, we've only got 10 seconds left of this. Perfect timing. Let's see what the ending's like. Wow, that was so Greek. Back in Falaraki in 1999. What's your favorite Greek island? Just out of interest.
Probably Skiathos.
That's I haven't been to that one. I was in Mykonos.
It's lovely there,
and Santorini. Absolutely amazing. Mykonos was overrated in my opinion, overpriced and overrated. But Santorini was absolutely amazing. If no one's ever been to Santorini, it's as good as they say it is and more. And the people were absolutely lovely. They were so nice. It was really good.
It is nice as well.
It was really good. Oh, by the way, we've kind of just delayed the winner, haven't we? The announcement.
We have.
We're not saying it this week. We're not saying it tonight, are we?
Right now. No. There he is, with a smiley face as well. Just showing off.
He's just getting cocky now. He probably typed it out and then was like, should I go for the smiley face or the wink?
And don't forget, one-handed, mate.
Wow. I think we should see photo evidence of that. Slavomir, you should post a photo because I think that's just an urban myth. I don't believe that it's true. Now, we almost cancelled the comment competition because it would use up too much energy. And obviously the whole conversation at the moment is around things. If we're taking Elon Musk's mind of stopping things that use energy, well, then the internet is going to be turned off soon, right?
Could be. I think that's maybe explaining your internet issues that you're having.
My internet issues? What are you on about?
Huh?
What are you on about, mate?
Well, that's why you were named Wi-Fi.
That's why I was named Wi-Fi past tense. Not anymore, mate. Let's see who freezes first.
You won't be me, mate.
Let's see, my friend. Let us see. So look, I want to talk to you about this whole thing because obviously we've had a few days. You and I were actually on another call and someone was like, Bitcoin is going crazy. And then we kind of caught the back end of it where it went down to 46,000, I think it was. And obviously that was a few days ago now, but we've had a kind of a bit of time to let the dust settle. Look, let's get your take on things because I know for me, I've been watching things and reading things on both sides. I'll explain my version. Guys, if you want to explain your comments and your thoughts on it, and obviously from a professional trader and just from your own personal version, it would be great to hear what you think. So the things that I've been hearing is he's just trolling us. He just wants some attention. He wants to buy Bitcoin at a better price because who buys over $1 billion worth and then says they're not going to use it? But the data that he's backing it up off, you can find data and anybody can swing it in whichever way you want it to be swung. So if you look at MasterCard and Visa, which people pay for Tesla cars, they've used statistics or they found statistics that show that MasterCard and Visa, they use up way more energy than Bitcoin. But what do they have in common is that they are a way to store and move value. That's where the similarities lie. So it's just pretty interesting to me that one's an old way of storing and moving value and one's a new way of storing and moving value, yet one of them then kind of tanks just off one tweet. It's pretty nuts to me. So I'd love to know what you're thinking at home. Obviously, this is a forum for us all to share. What's your thoughts on it, mate? From a personal point of view first, and then from a professional trader point of view, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be quite honest with you, that most of this is a play on, in my opinion, it's just about money. It's not, I mean, you can't on the one hand make a decision 2-3 weeks ago to accept payment for Bitcoin, to buy a load of Bitcoin, and then suddenly think, actually, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea anymore. And then just say and start tweeting this nonsense. So basically, either it's a PR campaign, they've told him actually you shouldn't have this, or it's a play to get things cheaper. But believe me, there's nothing other than money in this play. Money's the number one factor. So, you know, and he may be acting stupid, but it's all about money. And everything that is done is done intentionally. So, but to be quite honest, I mean, from a professional point of view, it doesn't really matter. You know, I was talking about Bitcoin going down on the show 3-4 weeks ago when we were at 60,000, and I've been short Bitcoin since around 58,500 as a hedge. So as a hedge, you know, not as a sort of speculative position, because I felt it was in a range. If you go back to that show, I was talking about it being in a range. It was at a key level, and I shorted it. Now, people say, oh, you know, Elon Musk is manipulating the market and pushing Bitcoin down. But how could that be the case?
Exactly what Con was saying.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's kind of like what I say in all forms of trading, FX included. Like normally, you know, the charts will tell you what's going to happen. So you do your work, you analyze the markets, and you make your prediction. And normally something fundamental comes out that all just suddenly kind of backs it up. So, you know, I think, like, you know, I wouldn't worry too much. I think I posted it in yesterday's group. Firstly, don't panic. Take advantage, if anything, and remember that everything is kind of priced in. So, like, we made this prediction, you know, a few weeks ago that the market would most likely retrace, and you know, just because Elon Musk tweeted and helped it a little bit down, doesn't mean that he's the cause of it. So everybody's kind of like, when you've got his kind of power, like, has he manipulated Dogecoin, for example? Of course he has. If it wasn't for him, it'd probably be a cent right now or less. That's really what created the spark, and then it's got interest, and then people are talking about it, and then the newbies just jump on board, like, oh yeah, well, let me just buy it, just buy the most familiar one. So really, that's what I believe, Gavin. I think it's it's just a way. I don't know what exactly the reason is. It could be it could be PR. They've told him, actually, you can't be seen to be buying and supporting Bitcoin when you're sort of, owning Tesla, which has these values, and Bitcoin doesn't kind of match up with that. Or it's just a way of buying more, because has he let go of all his Bitcoin? I don't think so. I'm sure he owned plenty, and I'm sure he'll be buying more. And who knows how many he's buying? He doesn't have to say, right? So,
and someone made a really good point that the Tesla cars are run by coal-produced energy anyway. So, people are looking at what he's saying, and he's just so contradicting. But people have short memories at the moment, don't they, with everything else that's going on in the world? It's shocking me that, I mean, he must be sat there in Musk layer, like Dr. Evil from Austin Powers, with his cat, stroking his cat, going, what can I come up with? What idiotic things can I come up with that are the complete opposite of what I've said 2 weeks ago that's going to cause this to happen? I guess, look, if you've got that much power and that much money, he could be doing worse things in the world. But I just wonder, when it first came out, I wondered if there was an ulterior motive, but it's an interesting take that you've shared on it. So some of the other guys putting their comments in. Rico, good to have you with us, mate. He's really making a case for regulation of crypto markets. Now, this is a really good point, because now what it could do is show people who are thinking of coming in, who are thinking of transitioning over their fiat currency and putting it into cryptos. This could now kind of give them second thoughts, right?
Why do you think that?
Because people are like, oh, there's a flash crash. When obviously anybody here that's taken the time to learn a little bit about cryptos, even just by watching this show in the group, you're saying it's not a flash crash. You've been through flash crashes, and maybe you can give us an example of an actual flash crash so that we've got a reference point. But it's just a retracement. It's not even that. It's a daily trading range for Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, and if you look at the whole sort of, if you go back in the sort of like, since 2015, the typical correction, you have plenty of little phases of like, between 29% and 38% retracement. And when you look at the chart, it's just a little blip. And to be quite honest, if you look at the Bitcoin chart in 12 months time, you will literally see this as a minor little blip. You literally will have to zoom into your chart to see the correction. That's how small it will be in relation to where I think Bitcoin will be in the next 12 to 24 months. So, you got to take that with a pinch of, you got to take it in context. It's just a retracement. And I think this is where, like, I always speak about expectations, and I repeat myself because it's really important that it kind of sinks in. Like, if you expect that Bitcoin is just going to keep going up without any pullbacks, and you're relying on that money, like you're putting in money that you can't afford, and you're relying on it being much higher, right? So, like, if you're going, oh yeah, I'm buying at 50,000, and it's definitely going to 100,000 because so and so said so, and you're literally, and this is what people do, and do you know what? It'd be great if there were some honest people they think like this, because I've seen a lot of people think like this. They literally will count how much money they're going to make when it hits 100,000. So in their heads, they've made that money. Like, it's like, okay, when it gets there, I've put in 10 grand, I'll make whatever, 20, 30 grand from that event. So in their heads, that's happened. And then it's not doing that. And that's why this retracement hurts more, because it's like, okay, well, it's going down, it's going down, it's going down, which is the complete opposite of what you've sold in your head. So now it's like, whereas if you were kind of like neutral and actually said, like the way I've been kind of talking, when it was at 58,000, I kind of made the case for, okay, well, look, I think it retraces unless this happens. So I was open to both sides. And now where we are right now, I'm like, well, okay, it's reached my minimum retracement of 44,000. I think it's got another push down, but I might be wrong, and this could be it. But I think it's got another move down.
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll get the chart up because it seems to be the one that we're basing everything on. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But just while that question's come up in my mind, obviously being in the markets as long as you have, you must have experienced some real genuine flash crashes. What was the most, like, to give people context, because you're able to sit here and you've kind of been there and done it, as it were. And I totally get what you're saying, like that point about, I think we've all been there, like, oh, you know, I put this in at this amount and it's going to come out at this amount. And yes, you do think of an ulterior where it could be a worst case scenario, because that's where you place your stop. But I think, especially when you're quite new, it's very difficult to not become attached. And that's where the emotions kick in and you just get total attachment. And that's where then everything goes to crap, basically. The brown stuff hits the fan, right? If it goes against you.
Yeah. And I think, it's I think there's a real fine line between, like, so when you put a stop, that's great. You're doing something good already. You're protecting yourself. You're managing the downside. But then you go the next step above that is to really kind of completely be in a space where you really are okay with that outcome. Like, if I said to you, okay, like, you buy something because you think it's going to go up and it doesn't go up and it goes down. And because of that going down, you've lost £1 of your money. How do you feel? Like, how would you feel if you lost £1?
Well, if it was any more than £3, I could have made a homemade spelt loaf for that. So
exactly.
I'd
so maybe
I'd be pretty missed
a lot, but for most people, they would be absolutely okay with it. But
depends what country you're in.
I would change the numbers just to make it relevant. 10 cents. 10 cents. So you lost 10 cents. How would you feel? Do you feel terrible?
Feel a little bit better now. That's only a slice.
Do you feel terrible with that retracement? It's gone down 38% and you've lost 10 cents.
Mm-hmm.
No, right? Now, if you had lost 1,000 of your hard-earned money, or 5,000 or 10,000, that retracement, my God, it's the worst thing that's ever happened in your life, that retracement. Like, as in the feeling of it. So the outcome, what's happened is the same thing. Like, when you're not even involved in the markets, it's like you could just look at it. Oh man, but wow, Bitcoin's gone down low. You'll have a little laugh about it. The bigger at stake for you, the more the potential emotions that are going to come up for you, and the worse it feels. That retracement feels so bad. Like, wow, it's massive, but it's not massive. It's just a normal pullback in this kind of market. This is a highly volatile asset. This is not trading bonds. You know, you're not trading, like, you know, insurance stocks that don't move. You are trading one of the most volatile assets that we have. So you have to accept that when you're in this kind of market, those retracements will happen. But you need to switch your mind and think, this is opportunity. Now, that's why you don't go all in. That's why you save some cash. That's why you protect yourself, because you have to take into account that these retracements will happen, and then you need to be ready. So you do one or two things. Hopefully you've done the correct thing and you haven't over leveraged yourself. So you over leverage yourself, then you can be in big trouble with these sort of retracements. And for those that are new, I mean, over leveraging basically means that you've borrowed a lot of the money of a big part of your position is borrowed money from the broker. So if you've done that and then the position goes against you, they're going to start asking for their money back. In other words, liquidation. So if you've over leveraged, that's what's going to happen. If you haven't over leveraged, you've taken sensible positions, then there's two things you do. You sit through this pull back because inevitably it will go back up. Or if you've got some cash and you've got the ability, go buy some more. Buy into weakness, sell into strength. Really that simple. Never, ever, ever sell into weakness. That is like what the sheep do. It's what the amateurs do. Never sell into weakness. Don't panic. The markets will retrace. They will go back up. You know, this is still a very long-term bull market. So you mustn't fear it. Take advantage of it.
Mate, and this is awesome because, you know, at the end of the day, I get to spend time around you. But for people that maybe just get to spend like a couple of hours a week, it may seem, it's not boring for me, by the way, to keep having these conversations because it's drumming it in, it's building a new muscle. It's like going to the gym so that when that time comes, you know, we'll be prepared. And obviously it's great that you're putting your time in that. But going back to another question that I did ask, but I masked it with another question because I wasn't in the most professional of modes. What's the craziest dramatic flash crash that you've experienced in all your time in the markets? Is there one specific one that stands out?
Probably Brexit.
Why?
Brexit. Well, again, like it's one of those where it's exactly the same. Think of the individual person and think of what I just said before, which is like people's expectations. Brexit just, for most people, wasn't on the cards. So when it started to happen, there was panic. And that's what creates crazy, crazy, crazy amounts of volatility and selling, because it's like, holy moly, we are in trouble. And we're talking about billions of pounds positioned in one way that now need to switch. So it's kind of like this panic, like across the globe. And that's what creates a flash crash, because everybody wants to dump because they are literally screwed. Like they are positioned themselves. Like think about us, right? We take a position, wrong side, bang, close, done. Doesn't affect the market. Think of it as a hedge fund when you've got billions of pounds under management. I mean, you're in big trouble and you need to get rid of quickly. And and the more you sell, the more you're actually affecting this market and the more it's going down. You know, if you've seen, what's that film with Nick Gleason?
You mention this every few months and then we never know the name of it. And then someone has to comment on the name.
I keep forgetting the name, but yeah, I always forget the name, but I haven't seen it for a long time. But yeah, that's a good example. It's a good film to watch for people, actually, to see that happening. Like that's a good point.
It's not The Big Short, is it, mate?
No, The Big Short is great. No, it's an old film. When he takes down Bear Banking.
Wasn't it Barings Bank or something? No,
Barings Bank, that's it. Yeah.
That's the name of the movie.
No,
is that the name of the movie?
It's not the name of the movie. It's something
so,
else.
Look, tell me, mate, when you say Brexit, because that whole circus has been going, if someone asked me right now, and I'm being honest, I couldn't tell you what year Brexit was. I couldn't tell you what year Brexit was because it's been dragging on for so long. When are you referring to? What moment in time are you referring to?
No, when it was announced, when they did the vote after the referendum. So I think it was 2016, maybe.
Was that when?
Something like that, or a bit before 2015, maybe. When was it? Somebody might know, but I was. I think it was 15 or 16, but it was the actual announcement of it. So it was voted in.
There we go.
Rogue Trader's correct, by the way, Kevin.
Very specific. June of 2016. Where were you at that time, mate?
I was trading. I was on a trading floor.
You were on a trading floor, or you were retail at that time?
No, institutional.
So tell us about that day, mate. Because they
didn't want us to trade, so I ended up trading my own account.
What happened, like when you walked in, mate? So take us through it. Like you walk into the office, had the brown stuff already hit the fan? Because we haven't been through this to your level, so you know it's like this was preparing you for cryptos, basically. Brexit was preparing you, my friend. So talk us through it, because we have these experiences through osmosis, through your memories. if you can remember it.
Yeah, no, I mean, basically, I was desperate to trade it because we were trading a good size account, and I actually, what I did was, well, firstly, they didn't let us trade it, so it was deemed too risky, and they didn't want us to sort of to take any risk on. So I decided that I was just going to trade my own personal money for that particular event. So I did make some money on the short side. I did position myself to short, basically, in case it happened. Not really expecting it to, but I found I literally got in at a value price. I sold it because it was already priced in that Brexit wasn't going to happen. So I just thought, well, probability-wise, yes, it probably won't happen. But if it does, it's going to be pretty big. So I went short at a good price, but I didn't do a huge amount of money. I did make good money on that trade, but compared to what I would have made in commissions had I done it for the firm, it was small amounts of money. So yeah, it was a bit disappointing really that they wouldn't let us trade it, but I understand it because it was risky, and you know, when you're dealing with client money, if it goes wrong, like, because it's one of those, it's like it's tricky with those kind of events, like how the market's going to interpret, because realistically, if Brexit was confirmed, like as in that it wasn't going to go ahead, that it was like, you know, against having Brexit happen, I made a prediction that the move up wouldn't have been that big because it was kind of priced in. But you never know. You never know, like the kind of reaction that you might get. So it was a bit risky, and we didn't trade it. But I stayed up and traded it, and I caught a big part of the move, but it went lower than where I came out because it's one of those things that's just like never seen before, and and it's going crazy, like massively down, but then it's spiking up. So because it was always like we were listening to the polls basically, and they were coming out from different regions, and they were like, oh wow, this one's this one's this. So I remember Sunderland came out, and that was an unexpected one, and then it crashed again, but then it was very, very volatile. So you always had this thing in your head. You're like, wow, okay, I've caught this move, but is this really going to happen? Because there was still a lot of votes to come in. So you had those doubts. So you're like, do you know what? Let me take what I've made. That kind of approach. But yeah, it was quite tricky to trade. But you know, I guess I'm thankful I made money, but it could have been a lot more.
I said in the video today, and thanks for sharing that, by the way. And thank you. I think Kevin was the first one in with the name of the movie, Rogue Trader. That's it. That's the name of the movie.
It
of
is.
Leeson Spank.
Good watch it. If you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. It's a great film.
I was thinking earlier on today when I was shooting a video to post in the group to let people know about the show today. And you look back at the property market crash. I think it was mid-80s, 84 or 89, I think it was. You look back to like all of these big moments in time, like the Great Depression and the gold rush, or like after I think it was World War II. I still haven't figured out the timelines. But you know, when you'll probably know the Onassis family, when they suddenly became after the war, and everybody started wanting, you know, pizzas. So, you know, America wanted the pizzas and all of this sort of stuff from all what was going on. A bad example, I know, but the point was this guy was like, okay, I'm going to buy up all the ships. I'm going to sort out all the shipping containers, get all this stuff done. And then eventually became one of the richest guys in the world. That is a really ballsy move to do. And it was like, I was sitting there today up the volcanic mountain, peaceful with the birds and the trees and the blue skies. And I was like, I like to think that I would have done that. I always look back and gone, do you know what? Give me an event like that. I would have taken action. But we're having this event right now, as far as I'm concerned. And it's like, I can see why. I speak to people of that era, and they're like, no, I didn't do anything. I just kind of just sat on the sidelines. And I always used to think, why would you do that when there was this opportunity to kind of switch money from one hand to another? But I get it now. And it's just like, it's really, really interesting, the psychology behind all of this transference of wealth, if you like.
It's fear, mate. That's it. It's like, and maybe people will resonate with this. Like, you have a plan in your head, and sometimes it works out exactly as you thought, right? So maybe it's maybe you buy a cryptocurrency and you say, okay, when it hits $2, I'm gonna take my profit. That's a really nice level. It's a really nice move, or whatever else. It gets there, and it gets there quite fast, and you're like, actually, maybe I'll try and get a bit more out of this. Let me get $3 or $4. Your plan just disappears, and it's because that greed comes in. And then the other way is the fear. Like, you think, okay, when Bitcoin gets to 40,000, I'm going to buy some, and it's coming down, and it's coming down hard, and you're like, I'm scared. I don't know if I can buy it, and you leave it. Like, so it's just because the event is creating that fear in you, and you no longer are thinking rationally like you were before. Now, of course, you have to assess if there's anything different to what you initially thought. That's fine. That's sensible. But you've got to try and be in a space where it's just made up stuff that's moving on your screen. It means nothing. Zero. Means absolutely nothing. It's just a red thing that's going down or green thing that's going up. Means nothing. Take the emotion out. Just see it for what it is. See what the opportunity is, and just buy or sell or stay out of the market. Just stay grounded. And that's the mindset you have to have. So just remember, when you're looking at the markets, make it a challenge for yourself to be calm, collected, remove that fear. Don't worry, nothing bad's going to happen to you. You're going to be alive. Nothing crazy is going to happen. Just do the right thing. Like, if you believe there's an opportunity to make money, buy it and put a sensible stop and just leave it alone and don't worry about it. Like, get on with your day, get on with your family, do what you're doing and enjoy your life, because you don't want to live in fear. You don't want to live in that sort of fear greed cycle, because it won't serve you and you won't make any money. Like, you'll always be stressed out and you'll always make the wrong decision in the end, because you'll buy it with this stressful mindset, this lack mindset, and then you're like, oh my God, it's still going down, still going down, it's still going down, and you're like, bang, let me close it. Selling into weakness. Just see what I'm saying? That's what's happening. So if you go in with a sensible amount, say, look, I'm willing to lose $1,000 on this trade, or 500, or 100, or 50. I'm willing to lose it. And then you say, right, this is where my stop is, and I'm gonna buy it, and if it stops me out, it's absolutely fine. And that's kind of the mentality we have to have. And if you do that, and you do that consistently over a number of trades, your account will grow, no doubt. And you'll make money on the short side, the long side, both sides. If you are trading in fear and greed, if that's the emotions that you're experiencing all the time, even if you make money for a little bit, you'll give it back. So you have to work on that.
Wise words,
inside. Yeah, it starts from what's on the inside first, and then the outcome will happen.
Cool. So with that being said, I think it's time for a little trading masterclass, crypto like a pro style. So over to you, Boo Boo.
Anyone want to make a request?
Wow. Requests on crypto.
Yeah, I can do one. No
Someone's
problem.
in a good mood.
I'm always in a good mood. Yeah, we can do a request.
Right, so we'll extrapolate the data from the first 3 comments coming in. So we've got XRP, we've got ADA. What's the third one? ETH. Okay, that's not really helped at all. Another one for Ethereum, but and another one for Ethereum. You posted about Ethereum yesterday, didn't you?
I did post that yesterday.
But look, the people have spoken. Ethereum.
Sure, let's do Ethereum. No worries. Let me do a screen share.
Nicholas, thanks a lot for your message. I think that's the flag of Colombia. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're tuning in from Colombia, let us know which part. Beautiful country. Had an amazing 5 weeks there.
Let us know if Colombia have got their own Bella Ciao version.
Yeah, guaranteed they will have, especially in Cartagena, which is in the north. And there's some amazing Caribbean beaches up the north end of Colombia.
It's not Colombia, it's Romania.
Mate, I'm sure Romania have some good beaches as well. No offense to our Romanian viewers. Crikey, you're on form. It is, thank you. Which part are you in, Nicholas? Is your chart ready, by the way? Because Nicholas just wants to get on with Ethereum. He doesn't want to talk about his country.
No, he doesn't. No, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so, right, guys, let's have a look. Let's do a proper analysis. So just so everyone's on the same page, what I posted yesterday was this. So I identified this as an important zone, as a buy zone. I'll explain why. It's held very, very nicely so far. However, that doesn't guarantee that we're out of the woods. I looked at that as a zone where I expected buyers to come in, which have happened now. And I am long Ethereum long term, but we'll kind of get back to this one in a second. So let's go over to the higher time frames firstly and have a look at something here. So this is the chart that we've got. So I'm just going to do a little something here. Let's clear up the drawings. And I am just going to do something here. Okay. So if you look at this kind of this blue line here, this kind of is like, this is roughly the long-term, you know, moving average of this currency pair. And, you know, if this market was to retrace further, so, and look, Bitcoin could create this, by the way. If Bitcoin goes lower, it may drag the whole market lower. You know, there is a chance that Ethereum can go back to these levels right here. Now, again, I've said this, I said it last time with VeChain, it happened. I said it last time with Bitcoin, it happened.
You did.
I don't want to be the guy that pushes the market down. Okay. I don't want to be
Mate, you're not quite Elon Musk. You're not quite. But
I need to make sure that people don't get carried away with this bounce. Yes, it's a good bounce. However, I am wary that this market could correct further because Bitcoin could correct further. Now, I'm going to do another little thing here. Let me just try something. We're doing this things off the cuff. So I don't know if it's going.
That's how we roll, baby. That is how we roll.
How we rock and roll. Okay, so I'm going to change this to white. Change this to the 21. Yeah, perfect. Okay, I'm going to just change this slightly. Okay, interesting. So here's what I've identified. So if you have a look, when this market is moving at a faster rate, it's holding on this white line, right? And when it's going at a slower rate, it's basically going on this blue line. Now, at the moment, we've held here. If this market was to close, I mean, you could, I mean, this one's really, I mean, it did close below, didn't it? But we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. If this was to close below here, the chances is that we're going to go back down to here. You know, so, I mean, that's what's happened here. That's what's happened here. And that's what's probably going to happen here. Now, we can do a couple of little things here as well. We can check out the fibs going down. Okay, we're going to take our time here. I want to do a nice analysis for you guys so we can come up with something to plan for. So we've got, that's going to hopefully help you guys make some money. Now, this is perfect. Now, here's what's happened. So the market has done an A, B, C. So the market pulled back to its yellow line. And according to our Fibonacci rules, we would expect the cycle to go to the yellow line and sometimes either extend to the next line down, which it has there, and then correct. So what we have to do now is we need to now take the Fibonacci from this high point to this low point. And I would kind of really take note of this level here, which is around that 3751. That why? Because that's the 618. So I would really take a note of that there, and just be wary of the possibility of this happening, you know, like, and possibly, you know, that kind of thing happening there. So it may not even go as low as that, but that's a possibility. And if that was the case, yeah, I mean, you could be looking at pullback into this sort of 2,500 area and possibly between here and here. So I would say if this happened and it started to go back down, I would be looking to be a long-term buyer, you know, in this kind of zone here.
So mate, just to stop you there. So I'm sure everybody, 99% of people are licking their lips at the thought of this going down to 2.5, because we all kind of heard the reports and we've seen where it's gone, even up to where it's gone here with the all-time highs. But what actually would that take for it to go down to 2.5? Because if people are kind of wincing at this tweet and what that caused a few days ago, what's it going to take realistically for it to go down to the 2.5 mark? Is it going to take something even more vicious with regards to price action? Or is that something that you would say would be a gradual thing?
So, I mean, I don't know if you're referring to like a specific event, but I don't think it has to be anything major. I think you'd just be looking at something. I mean, look, here's the way I would play it, guys. This is the best way to play it. So if we kind of, you know, if we take the kind of, sort of, we just have a little look to see how, you know, if we take, this is kind of like probably your standard angle line that the market responds to, but we'll just have a little check, and I'll tell you the safest way of doing this. I mean, that we could do that. We could, what is this, a 4-hour chart? Yeah, because honestly, the best way to approach this is just to actually just be planned for both sides and let the market show us what it wants to do. So yeah, I mean, that's not too bad. And we could even just take this one. Whoops. So let me zoom in. So here's what I would do, Gavin. The way I would approach this is, if the market comes back up here and fails to break this area here, like that's approximately, let me get a horizontal line. That's going to be approximately this sort of level there, about 3855. So, you know, we were talking about it slightly lower, but yeah, 3855. Let me go back to that daily chart. Let's get the numbers correct. The 6, 1, 8, 10. 3855 is actually, that's quite interesting actually, mate, because look, 3855 takes us back to the orange line, and then look where the orange target is. It's right there. So what you could do, guys, if you're long, use the order flow if you know what you're doing. If you're already trading with us and on our program, use the order flow and look for resistance around 3855 area, roughly there. Slightly lower, slightly higher. And I would really consider taking some off the table here. And then if the market breaks this area and you get that volume confirmation, look for a pullback to buy, and we're ready to go up. However, if you were to exit here, most of your position, and the market does pull back, you could then buy a lot more if we did go back down, you know, towards these sort of areas here, which is absolutely possible. It really is. So it looks to me that we've got some bullish price action now. I would take advantage of that and see how we close. And then I would be looking to take some off the table. If we were to break that kind of zone there, break 4,000, I'd be looking to re-enter. You know, you end up losing maybe $200-300, which is nothing compared to the potential upside. But then if you kind of exit here, think of the potential, like you're exiting here with the potential to buy back at these sort of prices down here. You're going to be able to accumulate with the same amount of money an extra few coins. So that's kind of like, that's what I would recommend. And it doesn't need to be anything spectacular to answer your question directly for that to happen. You know, it literally anything can happen, and the market and that can happen. So, you know, we can put in a trend line here as well, which, you know, that kind of takes you up towards those sort of zones. So I would definitely be using order flow here. And look, you can see, guys, there's a really nice level here. So I would just kind of be wary of these sort of zones. It could be worth definitely between there and where I pointed out here. That's where I would say short term, you're going to probably get some resistance there. And if somebody's using Bookmap right now, they could probably confirm if there's any orders there. I haven't got it open at the moment, but that's the zone that I would be kind of looking at to potentially lighten up. But you can watch it, and if you know how to use your order flow, go look for if you're on your charts, look for the order flow, check to see if the orders are taken up quickly, and you'll see if actually this has got momentum. So you don't have to automatically exit your position. Just watch it in that zone and see if it's slowing down, see if the sellers are going to start taking control. And then you may just want to consider doing that. Okay, so I don't want to give you investment advice. I'm just telling you how my brain is thinking, what I'm thinking for this. But long term, guys, this is going up. You know, I can say that with conviction and confidence. We'll see 10,000 before the end of the year for sure. I can definitely put myself on the line and say this market is going up, and I expect us to hit 10,000 before the end of the year. So it's just a question of, you can sit passively. If you're in spot, don't do anything, leave it alone, get on with your life. For those that want to be a bit more active, these are the kind of things that can give you that edge, to give you a little bit more than just sitting on the sidelines. Does that help, guys? Let me know if that's kind of like giving you guys some ideas. And you can see there the buy zone was perfect. I mean, I didn't mention the reason, but we had a Fibonacci extension matching this perfect dynamic support. Can everybody see how well this support line is holding? with the Fibonacci, it was a perfect buy. And we had a similar thing with Dash, and the same kind of setup. Why I bought more Dash at 285. But again, I've got the same kind of plan for that one as well.
I think Lorian sums it up. Brillante.
Did he say brillante or brilliant?
Just brilliant. But I was just doing it in the theme of sticking with the theme of the Greekness. Your screen's gone.
Huh?
Your image is gone.
Oh, here we are.
There you go. I thought it was going to get to tease you for your Wi-Fi. Thank you to Lucas. A bit of interactivity. So want to mention that. So he's saying that 3750 was the zone on the order flow, which is interesting.
Is that correct?
I'm presuming that's what he means. If you can comment on that, then that would be great. Facebook user is saying great explanation. That's kind of what he does, but thank you very much for that. And Roddy's saying, what broker do you use? The one he's on at the moment is GBP, so figures are different.
So if you use, Roddy, I would recommend you use TradingView. Just if you don't want to pay, just use the free version. So just for your analysis anyway. Ideally, I mean, I trade through Binance, but ideally want to trade through one of the exchanges rather than a CFD broker, ideally. But at the very least, your broker, if you're trading through a CFD, your broker should ideally give you prices in dollars, because most people are looking at the price against the dollar rather than GBP. So
I have heard a little urban myth that there are some CFD brokers that are doing really good spreads, but that's like a unicorn in a field of sheep, right? Trying to find that.
Yeah, actually, we are in talks with somebody to have something available. Very, very good. We can basically get pretty much spreads that are similar to what you'd get on a normal exchange, but you could do it through MT4. So I don't know if that was
watch this space.
Watch this space, yeah. Watch this space. Hopefully we'll have some news on that. Con asked me a question, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna do that. Well, that's not the one. What was the second MA that you used? So when it was, I think he was referring to the slower one. So
20.
The first one.
Yeah, daily chart 25, and then
21, wasn't it?
And 25, and then the slow one was 70. So 25, cool. 70, yeah.
Cool. I think you said it in the when you were going through and giving the breakdown, but thank you for clarifying that. So that is awesome. Another show in the bag. A kind of a bit of a big announcement, which, you know, we're just kind of putting out that Andy is contacting all his networks, and we think we've got something, guys. So yeah, watch this space, because it's exciting times here at the London Trading Institute Towers. Andy will be sat there like Dr. Evil stroking his cat, I'm sure. So yeah, Luke, just to clarify that, to finish off that loop, Lucas is saying 3750 zone at the moment, highest at that level with a 70.42 order.
Yeah, that's a 70.42 is, so if you do the maths on that, what is that? 3750 times, so it's, so the way
that's above my pay grade, mate. That's above my pay grade.
That's true, mate. 3750 times 7,000.
Wait, you try and do it without a calculator.
But somebody invented the calculator.
This is true.
What was it? What was the amount of orders?
3750.
7042, isn't it? Wow,
yes.
Really? That's a massive amount. That's $26 million worth of selling orders at that price. That's a lot. $26 million. $26.4 million of selling. Yeah. That's big. That's big. I mean, not in the grand scheme of things, but it's going to take a lot to push through that. So that could be your level, guys. If you want to take some profit and then see if it breaks that, see if it can push through that. So if you're in front of your screens, watch that space, put an alert in just before if you don't want to stare at your screens.
Awesome.
And see if it can push through.
We could carry on talking for another hour, I'm sure. It is very, very easily. If you are interested in learning more about cryptos, we'll put the link for the crypto program that Andy's been referring to. I know we've had a bunch of new students, so if you're a new student, welcome. We'll see you inside the Elite Crypto Traders Club. If you think this content's good, Andy posts more of this throughout the week. Minimum a couple of times a week, but he always does more than that and comments on people's posts and trade setups and ideas. So check out the link for that if you want to be a part of this tribe and take your kind of knowledge to the next level, if cryptos is what you're interested in. Otherwise, failing that, we'll be back next Monday with another Pips Like a Pro show, talking all things FX. Anything you want to say before we bounce, mate?
No, I think I've said too much.
I think you have. We'll speak about that afterwards. Andrew McAlpine, thank you very much. Andy and Gavin, great show as always. So guys, with that being said, we will love you and leave you, and we will see you next week. Have an amazing rest of the day wherever you are around the world, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Just the normal version, mate. I couldn't find the Greek slow version for this.
Le genti che passeranno, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 e le genti che
Got ya. Sleep with one eye open, mate. Sleep with one eye open.